Hello YouTube, we have an interesting one for you today. This is Temur mid-range. It went 9-2 at the latest SCG qualifier over the weekend, piloted by Noriyuki Mori, or Mori Noriyuki, not sure which is surname, but this is the deck. It is reminiscent of those Temur decks of old, those adventure style decks that were running Owash as their companion, that had Terror of the Peaks, that had Beanstalk Giant, that were looking to just kind of get good value out of their creatures and then double the damage on them with Owash. Now this deck is very similar in many respects, but it's different in a few key ones that we're going to highlight here before we jump into some games. First of which, no Terror of the Peaks. We've replaced it with Goldspan Dragon, Hasty Threat, and this deck is also playing more interaction in the main deck. 2 Sod Comings, 2 Mystical Disputes, 1 Miscast. So you're going to have more ways to use that extra Goldspan Dragon mana that you're going to be getting by replacing Terror of the Peaks with Goldspan Dragon. Additionally, you were running 1 copy of Alrund's Epiphany, a new Kaldheim card as well, and let you take that extra turn and get in the extra damage that you need, the extra flying damage, which is especially potent. You have so many haste threats, so many of these haste dragons that can just come in out of nowhere and hit your opponent for 8 or even, or 4 or even 8 rather with Owash. And of course you're running Great Henge because there are a lot of creatures in here, and you're going to easily find, I think, that you're going to be able to deploy that Henge. Sideboard, interesting. Got some more anti-rogue tech with these Midnight Clocks, Mystical Disputes, Sot Comings, Soul Flare, or Soul Seer, excuse me, to handle those new mono white decks that have been rising up. And you've got a lot of more, I guess, anti-rogue tech here with the Ox of Agonas. 1 Ultimatum, 1 Primal Might, and some Clothis, some more anti-rogue. So that's the deck. Let's take it out, see how it runs. What have we got here? We have 3 lands, 4, I guess, yeah, 4 if you count the Mammoth as well. Opponent not in a companion. I think this is keepable. The tap lands are a bit awkward. Okay, opponent on a plains. I think we run out of Ketria Triumph E1. Spikefield could be worthwhile if they are on like mono white aggro. Again, they had something they could do there. Okay, they run out of Hallowed Blade. This is mono white aggro, it seems like. I think we went out the Innkeeper for sure. Then I think we play Mammoth as a land. Maybe follow it up with Brazen Borrower. Next turn. They could just kill my Innkeeper with like a Stomp or something. They play Usher the Fallen. Okay. They're gonna Stomp Innkeeper. Yep. Okay. Alright. So what we could do is try to counter Hellblade when it comes back down. They also have to be mindful of Showdown of the Scalds. That's going to be a card that can let them refill and get some good advantage. Alternatively, I could just run out Lovestruck Beast as a 5/5 blocker. And nevertheless, I'm running up Bar Channel as I think as a... Am I though? Yeah, I think we just kill Usher. Play Pathways of Blue Source past the turn. Bounce now, try to stabilize my life a bit. Yeah, they use their Shepherd of the Flock. Bounce there. Hellblade. Play up on Crusher's Shirt. We'll play land. Tapped. Let's run out the Lovestruck for the long game here. When it attacks, they could have Rimrock Knight, but I think we take the trade, whatever they're trying to do. We'll just Block it. Okay, well, just dies. If they have a stomp or something they're gonna kill my beast with. Okay, another stomp, sure. Okay, land, not another Bone Crusher. Okay. That's super unfortunate we get the Innkeeper now. Play Innkeeper. Still 2 turns from casting Epiphany. I think we just get Obosh. Attacks me for 4, no blocks. Blade, Shepherd. Okay, let's go next, I guess. Some land drops is not helpful against an aggro deck, that is for sure. So we're going to want to bring in some Soul Seers, most definitely. We can take out the... These guys could be good against their Bone Crushers and their bouncing with the Shepherd of the Flock. I'll take out a Midnight Clock as well. And I guess I'll put in a Primal Might. A lot of the creatures are kind of wimpy, and just getting like a Love Struck Beast, making them fight like a Bone Crusher or a Shepherd of the Flock could be good. Okay. You have Bone Crusher, Spike Field, Soul Seer to take care of their 3-1. God, I forgot its name again. Oh, keep 7. Okay, what land to lead with? That is the question. I'm gonna just lead with the Mammoth. I'm fairly far from casting it anyway. I would need to find like another green source to even consider it. I want to play Selfless Savior. We find another Spike Field Hazard. Sure. Okay, no, I'm gonna pass the turn. I think here I'm gonna Bone Crush as opposed to Spike Field, although let's see what they play, see if they run out like a Luminarch Aspirant or something. Okay, well, there it is. Or we Spike Field the Savior and then Bone Crush the Aspirant. Yeah, that's probably fine. We can play another Spike Field Hazard as a land for turn and Stomp the Aspirant. My opponent does a Scry with some Temple. See what they choose. They put 1 on top, and they have 2 mana left. What are they going to do with it? Not Shepherd of the Flock. Sure thing, opponent. I guess I'm just going up on Crusher Giant. I'm not going to block Shepherd, but I want to start setting him a board for Obosh. Okay, they put 1 on bottom this time with their Temple. All the Skyclaves. Okay, give it to their Shepherd, I presume. We hit for 5. Yep. If we draw a land here, we can Goldspan into bounce. That is nice. Play a Mountain, crack you for blue. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Gold Span. This Bounce Shepherd. They're tapped out. And I'll have to pay for the re-equip costs. Though they can use Usher to safety, I guess, to bounce them all. Get it back that way. But now we're putting on the pressure. And we also have Soul Syrup to kill anything they play. That's gonna be nice as well. Okay, Usher. Yep, okay, so they bounce the Maul, and they play out Usher. Okay. So we're gonna play Pathway as a blue source. Let me see here. Because we can cast Alrund's Epiphany this turn off of Goldspan Dragon mana. We get them to 8 off of the dragon. This turn. We get an extra turn where we get to attack again, so we get them to 4 -2 because we're gonna have Alrund's Epiphany. So right now, if we don't even attack with Bone Crusher, we get them down to 2 life. We do get to also draw a card. We're 1 mana short of being able to cast Awash. So I think we just attack with both here. If they block. If they don't, we can kill them. Okay, we got there. We surprise Alrund's Epiphany. Yeah, then we just kill them. Okay. They got debated. So, we bound the draw this time against Boros, mid-range aggro. I don't know. Could consider taking out Primal Might, but what am I going to replace it with? It feels like I'm just going to get run over if I try to, I don't know, go for the other ultimatum. Saw It Coming kind of feels the same way. Although I do have a lot of removal spells. Maybe take out Primal Might, put in Saw It Coming. It is going to strain the mana base, but I think it's probably a little bit better than assuming I'm going to be able to stick creatures on the board, and that they're going to be bigger than my opponent's creatures when I'm on the draw. So we'll see. They choose here. I have to imagine they're going to go first again. Okay. This actually looks keepable. And potentially good with the Lovestruck Heart's Desire. I think I'm going to run out Heart's Desire T1. Probably go T2 Mammoth as a land, T3 Pathway as a blue source. We need to grab either red or blue with this passage. One of the attacks we're going to block for sure. And they both fine if you spend your turn doing that. Be my guest. Do I think they're going to play a Mace on their 1/1? Probably not. So I'm just going to play at the Mammoth as a land. Not feeling threatened by that 1/1 at all. Bolt in a land. Play Phoenix of Ash. Okay. 3. Play a land. Play Lovestruck. Pass the turn. They maul on the 1/1. Okay. Life Everglade is a red source. Pass the turn, I guess. They have something they can do. Probably Shepherd of the Flock. Although I fear a 1-mana protection spell. That would be bad. I'm gonna try to bounce the token. Token gone. Nice. Are they gonna pump Phoenix? No, they don't. So they're gonna play something else, presumably. Something to follow it up with. Showdown. Okay, draw 4. Seasoned Hallowed Blade amongst the cards they draw. Okay, land. Self the Savior. Okay. So we have a decision to make here. Anytime they cast a spell next turn, they get a creature on their hand. We know they have at least one Seasoned Hellblade in their hand, so that's 1 free spell. Up to 2 more, and maybe 3 more if they have another cheap thing they can draw. If they have like 3 1-mana plays or something. So that would potentially put the Phoenix to 6 damage. I think I just have to go for Goldspan here. Try to get that extra turn, win that way. I guess I could suspend the Epiphany this turn. Though it's kind of mana negative, right? So it would let me cast it even if they somehow removed Goldspan. Probably the safer play. So I guess if they remove Goldspan, I have an extra treasure anyway. Do they play Hellblade? Yep, 4 mana left. Okay, they flicker the Showdown. Play Shepherd. They buff their Phoenix so it can block Goldspan. Let's see if they attack with their Phoenix. They do. Are they thinking about it? Okay, they do. Put me to 5. Okay. So I think here what we have to do is... Well, first off, we Heart's Desire for 1. Make the other Love Struck be able to attack. We go to combat, swing for 9. Gonna be close. Block with Seasoned Hallowed Blade, okay. Land to it. Okay. Then we play a land. We have 2 mana left. Play the Pathway as a blue source. The Epiphany. Next turn, I think we're gonna have enough mana to get Owash and play it, and I think we would just win then. Okay. So we have perhaps assembled the combo. We'll see. Okay. They see it. We're able to squeak out a win there. Okay, opponent is on Yorion. Okay, enough hand. Not excited about it, but lead with the Spikefield Cave. And could probably go Ketria Triome into a Pathway. Opponent has a Ketria Triome of their own, so they are almost assuredly the Valky version. A Swamp foretell something. Alright, we are going to run out a Roguelite Pathway. Pass the turn. Next turn we can also run out Kazandu Mammoth if we want, by grabbing another forest with the Fabled. Probably what I'm going to do. We'll see what my opponent does here. But I am going to run out Brazen Borrower. I might have a counter spell or a kill spell. Wouldn't be surprised. Aggro is pretty prevalent in this meta, as I'm sure you're all aware. Go to combat. Swing 3 at my opponent. Okay, we get in for 3. We will play a Fabled Passage, I think. We could just grab Obosh. Yeah, I'm down to grab Obosh here. We could just Binding the Old Gods me or something. But okay, so the foretold card was actually Behold the Multiverse, not a counterspell. Fortunately, they put 2 in the bottom, so maybe they're digging for lands, or they're flooded with lands, or saw lands on top. I'll have to see. But my next play is almost definitely going to be just running out Goldspan Dragon. So I could potentially just run out Obosh. We'll see if, like, what they tap out for, what they do here. Like if they play Cultivate, I'm probably going to run out Obosh. Like for 6 in the air. Because then the gold spans are going to be fairly good. Although, getting a gold span on the board. Essica's Chariot. Interesting. Okay, here definitely now I'm going to go for... I'm going to go for gold span. Yeah, I have Mystical Dispute backup now because of the treasure sacking and whatnot. So we could potentially just like wipe them out in the air next turn. They don't do something impactful here. Because they're already at 10. Hell, we could even just play another Goldspan Dragon and just clobber them in the air. So that would actually be really ideal if they have another Yorion in hand or something, and they just went to play that. Okay, they crew their Chariot. Go to combat, make a token copy. Okay, we go to 16. So what else they got up their sleeves? Number 76 on the ladder has in store for us. Interesting. So what we're gonna do is grab another land first. Green, I guess. So we're gonna play Obosh, and we have kind of double counter spells slash backup. Let the omen happen. Sure. Goldspan, really just proving though what a crazy card it can be when you have plays to follow up with the treasure. Like, it's good mono red just because of like the 4 haste power, and sometimes I get a stomp in. But I think in decks like this it can really shine, or like the Is a Tempo deck, really to see how amazing it is to get 2 free mana on an attack, and whenever it gets targeted. Okay, opponent though doing some real hard thinking about that Omen. Let's see what they decide here. They decide to keep 1 on top. They actually only have 1 blue mana up too, so that's going to kind of preclude the number of counter spells that they could have. I think they're just dead here. See if they kill Obosh before we go to combat, before we get more mana. If they don't, then they're probably even more dead. Double dead or something. Okay, they play Heartless Act. We're gonna miscast that. Okay, they don't have mana for it. Okay, so we get to swing in the air for 7, really 14. Here we do. Looking down. Sultai mid-range, or Sultai Ultimatum, maybe? Sultai counters, something. We're gonna put in some of the more counter magic into the deck. We'll cut a couple cards. I'm gonna cut the Great Henge on the draw, I guess. So this deck is just wild. I'm still learning how to sideboard. I mean, it just to me it seems like 65 cards can't be optimal for the main deck, but you do see that there is a lot of stuff tuned against rogues, right? You've got the main deck Midnight Clock, you got the Midnight Clocks in the sideboard, the 4 Oxes in the sideboard, and I know that traditionally I think the Temur decks have struggled against rogues, so maybe this individual was really trying to tech against them out of fear of getting blown out by the rogue deck, and just to the point of, like I said, adding extra cards to their deck. I think we'll run out of island here, pass the turn, stomp them or something. We might Omen. Right, yep. Sure thing, opponent. Here, because I have so many few playables, I think I'm gonna hold off on playing out the Innkeeper, of course, until I can actually get value out of it. So T4, we just go Bone Crusher plus Innkeeper. If they get their 3rd land, that kept 2 on top. They get Yori into hand. We will stomp them. Okay, Great Henge is enticing. But I'm going to stick true to my plan this time. I'm going to go with just getting Obosh into hand. They're probably going to get a nice turn where they get to blink at least Omen of the Sea with Yorion on T5, so in 2 turns from now. But I think my play of playing Innkeeper plus Bone Crusher is decently fine as well. Plus on Tomb 5, we can follow that up with a Obosh, potentially, if they let things happen here. And running out the Innkeeper first, of course, to get the card. Now we're going to have Bone Crusher cantrip for us. And we find a Goldspan. That's good. We haven't found any counter magic, so if my opponent is actually playing Genesis Ultimatum, we're going to be potentially in trouble. And I don't know, this person is clearly much higher and louder than I am. And they might have some more insight onto which version of Sultai is doing best right now. So I don't know if it is more the control-y version or if it is the ultimatum-y version. But whatever version they're playing, they do have a Heartless Act in it, and it is going to kill my Bone Crusher. That is 1 fewer permanent of mine. Opponent plays Yorion, we get to do a blink. They keep 2 on top. They're kind of flooding out a little bit. So what we could do is play the island, attack with Goldspan, kill Yorian if they block with the Spike Field Hazard. Doesn't feel terrible, and I need to do stuff. Doesn't really matter, but I'm going to just do it now. Kill your Yorian. It's gone for good. So they're on 6 mana. Finding the old gods, they kill my Innkeeper, presumably. Sure. I'll leave a Brazen Borrower. Crazy beat. I think here what I'm going to do is play the pathway as a green source. Pass the turn. I can flash in Brazen Borrower and Cyclocatria Triumph as well. Or if they actually try to get an ultimatum off here, I can just cycle, but they don't. They foretell something. I'm just going to, of course, cast Brazen Borrower before they get a chance to use that foretold spell, because it could be a counter spell, of course. Okay. Brazen Borrower is able to hit the board. We cycle another land, miscast. That is something. So I think here what I do is it's actually a tough question. Actually, is a tough question. If they have ultimatum, they're going to do it probably next turn, and I'm going to want this miscast to shut that down. If they don't, and I can get a Great Henge through, that can just kind of power me through the game. Or I could just try to hit Obosh, get Obosh on the board. Do we let them just counter Great Henge? Or just play Obosh. I'm gonna put them on being on ultimatum, and gonna save miscast for that. Behold, okay. Scatter. I think we just let it happen. Okay, pathway. Let's see. Is my gamble? Is my read right? Are they actually playing ultimatum in their deck? They could even have ultimatum potentially related extinction event, sure. If we tell something else. And an Innkeeper. They play another land. Epiphany. I think we'll let that happen. We're actually 1 mana away from being able to get an ultimatum off through a miscast. I think back there too, not playing the henge was a mistake. Okay, now they have bulky or Tybalt. And they had a land off of me. Yeah, they opt not to attack at all. Another henge. Let's just go next. Having them have a result Tybalt is not good. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm about as sideboarded as I can be. Okay. Keep 6 here, I guess. I'll start with the Spike Field, probably into Ketria, Triome. And maybe T3 Mammoth or something. Yeah. Innkeeper means I can have a T4 play that's kind of nice of playing Innkeeper and then flashing Brazen if they try to kill it or something. When it Wolf Little Havens, they get to do some ramping here. I actually find another Brazen Borrower. But here I have to make Bark Channel a green source so I can play out Mammoth. Next turn I also have the nice combo of Fable Passage plus Mammoth. Get nice 5 damage in. I want to Cultivate, so they're ramping hard. We're gonna have to find some answers here rapidly. Or they're gonna probably ultimatum off. Spike Field is not an answer. We're gonna play the Fable, like I said. We are gonna hit for 5 for sure. I don't think I can kill my opponent in time before that they would actually get their ultimatum off or their scary spell, so I don't think I can just kind of go for Mammoth and try to beat them to death. So I think we roll this crack. Field Passage now. I'm not afraid of a single forest. For my opponent, we're gonna get an island here so we can flash in a Brazen Borrower. My opponent for 7. I guess what I could have done too is get Obosh to hand this turn, and next turn I might have had them lethal, but it would be tight. Okay, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna play the Innkeeper. We're gonna pass the turn. I have like 6 counter spells I could try to find. I guess 7 with Miscast. Put on 6 mana now. If they run out here. Extinction Event. Yeah, well, I guess that's fine. Crazy Bee resolves. They have kill spell, it seems like. So they now have a stop. Play the Spike Field as a land. Go to combat. Swing 3 at my opponent. If they kill it. You do. Okay. We're gonna run another Innkeeper. Pass the turn. Maybe I should have bounced the Wolf Willow Haven. Probably should have. Eyeing Innkeeper, we're gonna flash in Brazen Borrower. Draw a card. Goldspan Dragon. Nice. Follow up. Still on 6 mana. Cultivate. Okay, I think I'm being a lot more now. Play an island. Work around disruption. Play Goldspan Dragon Resolves. Hit for 7. Yeah, let's get Obosh to hand. Well, they have the double mana from Goldspan. And now it comes down to if they found an ultimatum and if they actually even have it in their deck. They get Yorion to hand, so they evidently don't have it. Play Yorion. Okay. So, unless they can counter Obosh, I guess they can potentially... Okay, that's sneaky. Using a Blinking Wolfwell Haven. Put on the swamps. They must have a kill spell. Yeah, they must have a kill spell, one of their 2 cards. We're gonna hold on to the land, because it could maybe help Mammoth. But we gotta play Obosh. Gotta go to combat. Swing out here. I imagine they're gonna kill Obosh in response. No! No, they didn't have it. Wow. Beat number 76 with this Temur monstrosity over here. Alright, what have we got here? 2 lands. Opponent goes first. Throw in Yorion. I think we mulligan this. So there's a 43% chance to draw land. Can we do anything if we only get 3 lands? We really need to take the 5 to have action. I think we mulligan. Okay, this is much better, I think. Keep 6. What are we gonna send back? Mammoth? Try it. Try to send back Mammoth. Maybe I should be sending back the Innkeeper since I don't have any actual adventure creatures, but opponent playing a Temple of Enlightenment. Start things off. It's interesting, to say the least. Well, okay, we get another land. That's fine by me. If it is a tap land. So I have to think my opponent is probably on Esper Doom here, or maybe Azorius Control. Charming Prince. This could be blue-white Blinky. Blinky in the brain over there. But opponent Scrying went top. Good to know. I'm gonna run out a Ketria Triome. I'll play the Innkeeper. I think there's a non-zero chance my opponent does like a Skyclave Apparition and they could just snipe my Innkeeper. But I'm not super certain about what they're going to be running here. And whatever it is, they're not going to be Apparitioning this turn. Attack for 1, no blocks, of course. Not going to throw out my Innkeeper for nothing. Okay, foretell something. And a Great Henge, and now this mana base is really killing me. All these tap lands. But I am going to play the Ketria Triome. I'm going to go to combat, swing for 1. I'm going to foretell saw it coming. Could be useful down the road. Next turn I have the awkward decision of either playing Mammoth or holding up saw it coming. I play another tap land, so we're both having these horrendous mana sources. But my opponent does get rid of my Innkeeper, fine. Get our next land as well. So I think what we'll do is play a Mammoth as a land. They're tapped out, so we don't have to play around any disruptions. We're just going to run out Pathway as a red source, spread the love, and pass the turn. Next turn we can Great Henge and have Saw It coming back up. And depending on if we crack Fable, we might be able to Great Henge and play Goldspan. Because Xander Mammoth would be a 7/7, so Ender costs 2. And then yeah, we could Henge into Goldspan, and if it gets to attack, then we would get to have Sot coming up. Opponent though, missing a land drop because they went first. We're gonna crack the Fable Passage here. Like the whole thing too is that we're gonna have Sot coming up at like every step of the way, basically. Except for I guess casting Goldspan. I don't know that it matters what land you get here, because we can tap the temple in one of these triomes. I'll get blue. Okay, henge it up. They have a counterspell for it. You don't. So then we go to combat. Swing 7 at my opponent. Let's see if they block. Where is Protector? Do I care about that? They get rid of my Mammoth. Probably fine. They spent their whole turn doing that. And it leaves the battlefield, not dies, so I can't trick them with hazard. Yeah, and I don't want to try to spike field hazard to get rid of it for good, because I'd rather just have Sot coming up. You giving me a token? Are they gonna board wipe or something? Seems to be the implication. You say oops, so maybe they forgot about that. Okay, but now we have a decent place. We have Goldspan, we can plot down. I want to get into 5. I think, if I had to guess, an ECD is coming. Elspeth conquers Steph. I might try to pick off my Great Henge. Well, would you look at that? I'm not a fan. Our opponent, it is, it's not happening. Okay, but what is happening is a Goldspan Dragon swinging in the air for 5 damage. Another henge as well. We'll go to combat. I think we'll swing 5 my opponent. And if they block as well, okay, they don't block. I'm gonna run out the cave as a land, and I'm gonna pass the turn. Holding up Mammoth because I want to ensure I get cards if they board wipe or something. Not exactly sure what they're going to be gunning for here. I think they were really banking on that Elspeth Conquers Death landing. So they could have another one, but this Foretold card could be Doomscar. And if it is, I don't want to just play into it. Okay, it's probably Doomscar. Yep. Well, that's nice. Nice cheap creature for me. And play Mammoth. I think we passed the turn here. We can still kill them next turn by just playing Obosh. And again, don't want to overcommit. They have an Apparition. Okay. Seems to me that they don't have another Doomscar. Casket and an Innkeeper. Okay. Misty's good. Misty is good indeed. Especially when they've been missing some land drops here. I could Doomscar. I think we're just gonna pass the turn. Oh. If I don't, I can get lethal. Yeah, we're gonna go for the lethal route here. And we are rewarded, I believe, unless they have another mystical dispute. Okay, look at that. Surprise mystical dispute off the treasure token. That was a thwart the Azorius control player. Okay, so I think we can again take out Midnight Clock. They are doing a lot of exiling of things, a lot of blinking. I still think a mystical dispute is going to be good. Another Sot coming. There's ways to interact with them. Great Hand is amazing, as we saw there, as long as we can kind of protect it from getting removed, exiled, or what have you. I could also kind of transition more like an aggro deck if I wanted to get Primal Might, the Soul Seers. Not sure that I do though. We also didn't see much control magic from them, but they might be citing that in now that they see we have some. Yeah, I think maybe taking out an ultimatum. Because I could just play right into a Doomscar, right? If we get a bunch of creatures or whatever on the board and they just, you know, blow it up. Admittedly, the ultimatum can hit the Great Henge, I think, right? So that could be a nice play, but you know, still 7 mana, potentially just get blown out or get Doomscarred. Now this is interesting. I think I'm gonna keep it, even though we don't have blue. We do have Goldspan Dragon, we have an Innkeeper, okay creatures in the Mammoths, and they also double as, you know, 4 lands too total. Opponent mulliganed as well. We keep one on top though. We have double Innkeeper. We'll find some adventure creatures. I'm gonna have the bot on the side coming here because right now it's just really a dead card. They foretell something though. I find a mystical dispute. I guess I'm gonna run out a Mammoth as a land. I guess I'll pass the turn. I'd prefer to get value out of these Innkeepers if I have 2 of them. So that's gonna be some value. I think too, to ensure I keep hitting land drops, I gotta play out the Mammoth as a land here. We can set up the next turn of Innkeeper plus Lovestruck. Or we could be super greedy and go Innkeeper, double Innkeeper. As in play 1 Innkeeper this turn and Heart's Desire. Next turn play the second Innkeeper and then play the Beast. I think that's probably a good play. So we'll start with the Heart's Desire, see if they counter that before we let them know I have an Innkeeper. Okay, they Omen. But presumably it means no counter for the Heart's Desire we have here. We'll put one on top. Play a land. I think the potentially greedy play here. See what they go for. Arcana Sun's Grace. That could be a problem. They're going to get you out 2 cards here. And I don't think they're going to want to commit to a board that they've now put an Archon onto. We also now find our blue mana and we draw a Great Henge. So this hand has finally kind of come together here. Opponent just swings for 3. What do they do here? See what they follow it up with. Are they going to board wipe? Apparition. Beast. Okay. Spike Field Hazard. So you could play Mammoth. So next turn we aren't guaranteed to hit a land, so it could be bad just having that be a 3/3, wouldn't get the Blade Great Henge. I think the answer is just to run out Goldspan Dragon. Swing 4 in the air. I don't know if they're gonna get to crack back for 3 lifelink, but I want the treasure. They swing 3, sure. They don't do anything. Sure. And we find a hard counter now. That's going to be great. We really should just run this out to begin with, right? Although, I guess to be responsible, I should try to attack first. Get that extra 2 mana. Okay. Get in there. 4 more damage. And 4 more mana as well. We'll play Great Henge. Sun, sure. He already gets a Pegasus that comes out. I think we'll play the Spikefield Hazard as a land and end the turn. I know we have like what, really 6 mana up because the Great Henge can tap for 2 green, admittedly. Still, it can pay to help counter a non-blue spell. We take 3, sure, but we're going to gain 2 back this turn from the Henge. Our left totals are basically even, but I'm getting a much better board state, I think, just to have these treasures with the Great Henge. And my opponent still has this mysterious Foretold card, but and 3 other cards. We're setting up for potentially good Yorion Blink, that's for sure, but you have 2 Mystical Disputes. I think this is still looking good for us. We'll make sure we draw or gain life off of the Great Henge. Nothing to do with instant speed. I think what we'll do is start off with a Mammoth, draw a card. Another Goldspan. Yeah, down. 5/5 flyer with haste. Draws me a card when it enters, and we find another Great Henge. I'll play a land now. What's going on? Doesn't seem to be a downside. They missed out on some Kazandu mana damage, but mana could be relevant. Swing out here for 9 in the air, making 4 more mana. And Omens of the Sun, sure. Don't block one of my dragons, but not really scared of that at this point. And get Obosh. I guess actually what we'll do is crack the Fabled Passage, grab another island, get Obosh. Tap land, Glassful Mimic, so they don't want another Archon, which is interesting. They evidently want 6 mana pretty badly. Vanishing Light. Here we'll dispute. With the attack now with the threat of a Goldspan Dragon. Okay. Another Great Henge, alright. We will play Obosh. Miscast, go to combat, swing 5 at my opponent, or really 10. may have 30 life, but I'm gonna be killing them in, what, 3 turns nevertheless. And they have 2 foretold cards. They could just board wipe. Swing for 3 in the air again. Sure. Glorious Protector. They can exile the Archon and the Apparition. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Play Doomscar. We're gonna miscast that. Another Goldspan. Pretty nice. And Bone Crusher Giant. That's pretty nice. We're gonna hit 10 at least with a Goldspan. I think we just send everything. I forget if Stomp counts as a odd CMC spell because of Adventure. I forget if the CMC is 5 or 2 of Stomp. Double check. Yeah, I think that is the instant or sorcery portion. 10. They blocked these. They're gonna probably block these 2. They just blocked the 2 Innkeepers. They would take 4 more damage. So it would be 4 or 6 rather. Yeah, I'm gonna hold the Innkeepers back. They're low on cards. I'm gonna win the long game, so I just have to play that game. Exile my Mammoth, sure. I think we just say go. We have 2 counterspells for their 1 card. They don't even have Yorion in their hand. This is looking good. What a weird deck though. I mean, am I right? Like, the old Temur decks that were going for the Genesis Ultimatum, but it's only playing 1, and it's playing 65 cards in the main deck. We're just gonna Mystical Dispute that. And it's so sided against like blue decks that I guess really are dominating the meta, and this deck would probably otherwise struggle with, so that's how you do it, I guess. Wild. 3 games with this Temur mid-range style, and it's proven pretty effective. I hope you enjoyed the games as much as I did, and I will see you next time.